This is the Dork channel, and we will be discussing physical sciences. In grade 10, you chose to do physical sciences. How exciting will that be to go through 3 years with physics and chemistry, the most exciting world? And you'll do electricity, mechanics, you'll do matter and materials, you'll do the most exciting stuff, thinking, solving problems, exploring the world. So, congratulations with your choice of a subject like physical sciences. The first part of physical sciences will concentrate on dimensional analysis. And you'll know that you will struggle with some of the conversions from one unit to the other. So let's start off doing the whole origin of how we got to the different units. The first part, we'll say, why is it important? Well, we'll do quantitative measurements. We are going to measure lengths. We are going to measure speed. We are going to see, is it faster or slower, stronger or weaker forces. So we need to know in which units we are going to measure physical measurements. So see, physical measurements will always be in a certain unit. And therefore, we will be able to predict all the formulated physical laws that people many centuries ago compiled, and up till today, we are using some of these laws. So, why is this important? It's important to discuss the phenomenon in terms of a basic unit. I've got a clock here, and this clock, as you know, will have hours, but it will be refined into minutes and even seconds. So we need to know, are you saying days, afternoon, night? Where are you in terms of time? And on the right hand side, I've got a plastic container. And if you see, it's got four sides. And we need to know what's the unit that we are measuring these four sides. And in actual fact, I will show you in a later experiment that this container, this little box, contains 1 liter. 1 liter of content will go into this volume. Right, so where did it start? We have an international system that every country adheres to, and that is the System Internationale. They actually got together and they depended on everybody's input, and they got to 7 units. And if you really have time and you want to spend time on the internet, actually go and Google System Internationale, and you can go and see what's the history, where is it kept, because they actually have artifacts of every unit that we use. So the System Internationale have 7 basic units. The length will always be measured in meter, and the abbreviation of meter, the symbol for that unit, is a lowercase m. Be careful, not a capital, it's a lowercase m. Mass, on the other hand, is measured in kilogram, and we'll get to kilo just now, and it's abbreviated with a lowercase k and a lowercase g. Time will always be measured in seconds, again abbreviated with a lowercase s. Electric current, which you'll do as soon as you start with currents, it will be measured with ampere, and it's again an A, and in this case it's a capital A. Make sure that you distinguish between lowercase and uppercase symbols. Temperature will be measured in Kelvin, and this is a capital K. Amount of substance which we are going to use in the chemistry will be expressed as mole, and the unit is MOL. And then finally, when we get to waves, we will express the intensity of light, luminous intensity, with the unit candela, which comes from candle, and it's abbreviated with a small cap C and D. So this is something I found on the internet, where it says this is the meter, and it's actually kept somewhere, an artifact, And we're going to go through the timeline quickly. You don't have to know history, but it's really nice to get the context and the background where it started off. Now, before 1668, people used their feet or their elbows to express length. But we know the feet in any household will be different sizes. So we need to know exactly what size we are talking about. So in 1668, they actually started to talk about how can they actually standardize these things, and got together a few years later in 1799, and they actually established the system internationale. And at that stage, they had the kilogram and the meter as the two defined standard measurements. Remember that K is wrong. It has to be small caps K and small g. And here lowercase m for meters. Please bear in mind that you do that every time that you use a unit. A few years later, in 1875, 17 nations came together and they signed a convention. And a convention is sort of an agreement that we'll be using the same system, which makes it easier when we publish and we work with different things. Right, later they added ampere, which is current, Kelvin for temperature, and then luminous intensity with the candela. 1960, they actually redefined the meter and said that will be exactly the wavelength of a krypton 86 atom's radiation. The length of that wavelength is then defined as meter. And later on, they said, what will the second be? And they said, if cesium atom have got a splitting action, the frequency of that will be exactly 1 second. So they actually did very, very complex experiments to get to the definition of a meter and a second. 1971, they expanded the current 6 to also have mole included into the dimensional analysis and the SI system. They then, in 1983, took the meter and said, let's revise our definition, where we had it previously, and then they said the speed of light will be the actual standard to measure a meter, and that was Einstein's contribution. And in 2018, they actually said there's exact values for all of these units. So 7 units, SI system, you have to know that. Just quickly, you'll be confronted with different problems. In this case, mass will be an SI unit of kilogram. Be careful. It's not the weight. The weight will be something that you'll be doing later in physics, and that is gravity. Remember mass in kilograms. Remember the candela, which will give me the luminosity. And when I work with a thermometer, the standard measurement will be in Kelvin, not degrees Celsius, not Fahrenheit. That will you use as well, but in terms of SI, it will have to be in Kelvin. When we get to time, we already recognized we work in seconds. When we get to atoms, they actually took 12 grams of carbon, and because it's cheap, and they counted how many atoms will give me 12 grams, and they got to the mole, and see that big number, 6.02 to the power of 23. It's a huge number of atoms that's comprising 1 mole. And then finally, the ampere, which is the unit for, do you know? Current, yes. So, they've expanded them. They actually have the 7, and they expanded them to a few other units. And you will work with them during grade 10, during grade 11, and grade 12. So it's not just 7 that we're using. There will be a few others, but we aren't going to go into that at this stage. Let's get to numbers. we also have a standardized way of looking at numbers. So you know this is a 1, and you've been taught this from grade 1. So there's 5, then it's 10, so it's 65. Then you've got hundreds giving me 365, and even thousands, which is 2,365. Then we are working in the decimal system. So this side you'll have 1 divided by 10, which gives me a tenth, or 4 divided by 100, which gives me hundredths, or thousandths, which will be 2 divided by 1,000, or 7 divided by 10,000. Please bear in mind that you'll always have to do very accurate calculations, and when they indicate the rounding down, you'll have to round down to 2 or 3 numbers after the decimal point. I actually would like to show you on a very easy way of looking at numbers. Let's have a look at this flip chart. So we've got the decimal point there, and we've got hundreds and tens and thousands. Let me just take this one away and let us see. What do we have here? Do you see I've got thousands, hundreds, tens, and ones. So you can play around with these little toys and get your numbers in a decimal way. So you'll have your ones, your hundreds, your thousands, and even 10 hundreds and 10,000s, or you'll have the hundredths, which is, remember, a decimal. So it's a fraction. Be careful that you do not underestimate accuracy. Most of you will probably use your calculator. I would advise that you try and do it without a calculator. That gets your brain going. Let's go back to the numbers on our presentation. Right, so we've got numbers as I showed you. Let's go to the 10 chart. The 10 chart says if you multiply with 10, you actually add a 0. That you know. You were, from grade 2, 3, 4, you were confronted with multiplication. If I multiply with another 10, I'll get to 100, and another 10 will give me 1,000. This we will express now that you've done a lot of mathematics with powers. So that will be 10 to the power of 1, 10 to the power of 2, and 10 to the power of 3. What happens if we divide with a 10? Then you get 0.1, or 100, 0.01. So that's 1 over 10, 1 over 100, and 1 divided by 1,000. Careful manipulation and accurate calculations. Use your calculator as a tool, not as a crutch. It needs to help you to do the problem solving. Right, let's see what we will use in many facets of physical sciences. As I said, you can go with greater numbers. This will mean 3 zeros, 1,000. This will mean 6 zeros, which will be 1,000,000. So you will be working with big numbers, but you will also work with smaller numbers. And here you will divide. But these have definite names. People have been working with this for many years, and they made it very easy. So when I divide with 3, it's divided by 1,000. I express that as milli. And you'll see it will be milli. We'll be writing it like that. It's a millisecond or it's a milligram. Always make sure that you've got the right case. In this case, it is lowercase m for milli. If it's divided by 10 to the power of 6, it's 10 to the power of minus 6. Remember, you divided it with 10 to the power of 6. And if you take that exponent up, it becomes 10 to the minus 6. You've done this in math. Now you've got to apply this in physics. So that is a micro, and micro is that letter in the Greek alphabet, which we call mu. Mu is micro. Then we go a little bit smaller. Currently, we're working on nanosciences. It's minute parts. That is divided by 10 to the power of minus 9. So that is a nano. And even smaller is the smallest one you'll be confronted with. It's pico. So make sure that you have a knowledge of milli, micro, nano, and pico when you do your calculations. But we can also work with a larger quantity. 10 is where we start. Then we multiply with 10 to the 3, which is 1,000. That will be kilo. Kilo, as written down there. And you'll know we buy sugar, for instance, in a 2.5 kilogram bag. That means we actually multiplied it with 1,000. A little bit larger than kilo, 10 to the power of 6 will be mega. And see, this is now a capital or an uppercase M signifying mega. 10 to the power of 9 is giga. Remember, you get gigabytes when you buy airtime and you've got memory on a computer. And the largest one you'll be taught is the tera, and that is the capital or uppercase T. Right, let's see. What did we teach you? We said there is a standard unit, length, mass, and time, but there's another 4, there's 7. You can actually independently go and have a look at Google and see, am I interested in this? Where did it come from? Where is it kept now? Or you can have a look at atomic masses. If you take your periodic table, how did they get to all the different atoms and their masses? Where does it come from? Where do they use it? So go and have a look and be the Googler and see what you can find. Even the wavelengths of the colors of white light. And we'll show you later in experiment that white light consists of many other colors in light. Right. What did we explain in this theme? We said you have to be able to explain why we use specific units. And then you'll have to be able to convert those kilos, nanos, micros, millis to specific units. In the next section, we'll actually do a few conversions. We hope you enjoyed the history of the establishment of units. Bye-bye.